Coming to the most important point. So this is why we have correct Suchi, out of 800, 452 pass. That's right. But how? No one knows. That's Isaka's secret. Okay. Coming to the exam preparation aspect, why you all have joined this, right? Please understand that this exam, when you have attended the training, or whatever trainings that you attended, whatever content that you have gone through, this exam at the end of the day is all about your understanding of the terms and terminology, right? uh, your judgment and your critical thinking of that particular question, and making sure that you apply. I mean, when we say common sense, the common sense is that uh, that particular question and the four answers which are available. There is no what if scenario that you will have to get into, right? It is not really required, right? The fact, and this is why the fact that your experience comes into picture. Why exactly you are, I mean, for claiming the certification, the reason why people say that, Isaka says that you will have to be an experienced person. This is one of the reason, right? If you do not have the right kind of experience, or right kind of introduction to information security in an enterprise scenario, it would be difficult for you to gain or gather that, the right answer, or pick the right answer, because a lot of this is more on application of your knowledge than just subject. Okay. And finally, and most importantly, as I was saying, of the of the four answers that you see for every single question, uh, you are supposed to pick the best of whatever lot is. Sometimes it's, uh, from a from an understanding perspective, you may feel that all the four answers are wrong also, in a few rare scenarios. But it's picking one of the four is all about the exam. That's all is there. So for take every single question as, independent one, not interdependent one. So the question is not, there will not be any question which says that in the previous question we asked you this. Now assume that, the same kind of a company, this is the scenario, these are the four answers, then, give an answer. That won't be a case. Definitely not. Okay. So one question, four answers, give the answer, forget about that, come back, go to the next one. Yes, you do have an option to, mark those answers, to be reviewed later. But then again, that's, as I keep saying to people whom I train, right? A lot of analysis paralysis is what generally, it basically tends you to make you tensed. Number one, number two, that's where you end up falling into the pit and selecting wrong answers, right? So as I was saying, no right answers, only the best. So you have to pick the best from the four. What is the most applicable, more encompassing, as in something which is very broad and which would include multiple aspects, is something that you will have to think about, and you have to pick that. Okay. In terms of time per se, yes, usually enough time. We're talking about 240 minutes and 150 questions. So definitely more than a minute for every single question. The way that I would always recommend is target between 45 to 50 questions per hour. That way you would complete 150 questions in 3 hours, right? And you still have an hour left, if in case if you would go ahead and want to relook at something, right? uh, Another point that I would say is, as I mentioned here, is to take a break, right, every 15 questions. It's important, because generally what tends to happen with people is that when you sit and when you start answering, and of course this is widely prescribed method. I've known people who had completed the exam, in about an hour and a half also, and came out flying colors. There is nothing which is basically like, one formula fits and suits everyone. But this is something which is a tried and tested method which worked for majority of the people whom I've known, whom I've trained, right, and whom I've actually given the exam along with, right. People who were part of my batch, with whom I've trained, they've done the same thing as well.